ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता महात्म्यम, वर्स नंबर 4। गीता सुगीता कर्तव्या किम अन्य हि शास्त्र विस्तरहि यह स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुख पद्मात् विनिःसृतः। Because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one need not read any other Vedic literature. One need only attentively and regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. In the present age, people are so absorbed in mundane activities that it is not possible for them to read all the Vedic literatures. But this is not necessary. This one book, Bhagavad Gita, will suffice because it is the essence of all Vedic literatures, and especially because it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here, Shripad Adi Sankaracharya is further emphasizing the importance of Bhagavad Gita by explaining that this is one scripture that we must read and understand in this life. If we read Bhagavad Gita, then it's not necessary to read all other scriptures. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita contains the essence of all the Vedic literature. He says Gita Sugita. So what does Sugita means? By adding the prefix Su to Gita, he is explaining many things. In Sanskrit, the prefix Su has multiple meanings. Su also means beautiful, Sundar. So Bhagavad Gita is Sundar, Bhagavad Gita is very beautiful because this is directly coming out from the lotus lips of the Supreme Lord Himself. Each and every instruction of the Lord is beneficial for us. Therefore, no word of Bhagavad Gita is useless. Every word is full of meaning and is thus very beautiful. Su also means Sudurlabha. Sudurlabha means something which is not easily available. The knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is actually very, very confidential. In Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna tells Arjun in the 9th chapter, 2nd verse, Raj Vidya Raj Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshav Agamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. This is the king of all knowledge and the monarch of all confidential topics. It is extremely pure and can be directly realized. This transcendental wisdom is consonant with the principles of dharma. It is comprehended without difficulty and is eternal. So here Krishna is explaining the two meanings of prefix Su. So the first one, Sudurlabha, that it is not easily available because it is the king of all knowledge and is extremely confidential. Actually, the instructions in Bhagavad Gita are the epitome of all the confidential topics. Something that is confidential, you can understand that how difficult it would be to attain it. FBI, CIA, they are the protectors of the confidential information that the government of United States has. Similarly, every country has a bureau where their confidential information is kept. Is that made public? Can you easily access it? If you try to access it, actually you will be put behind the bars. So in this world, things that are very confidential are not easily available. And this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita actually is even more confidential than the most confidential information that any secret agency in the world has. So it is Sudurlabha. It is not easily available. But by the mercy of the Lord, it has been made sulabha. So sudurlabha has been made sulabha. Means something which is extremely confidential has been made easily available, and that is what also Shri Krishna is telling Arjun in this second verse of the 9th chapter, that this transcendental wisdom is comprehended without difficulty and is eternal. And what it is? It is extremely pure. And how it is made sulabha, how it is made easily available? By the grace of the Lord and by the mercy of the devotees. If we do not associate with devotees, and if we do not understand Bhagavad Gita in their association, then it will appear very difficult to follow. So, but when we associate with the devotees and hear it from him, then these very confidential topics, which may appear to be extremely difficult to implement in our day-to-day life, will actually become very easily possible to be implemented in our life. That is what Krishna is saying, that this can be comprehended and realized without difficulty, only by his mercy and the association of the devotees. So therefore it is sugamya. So su means it is sundar, beautiful. It is sudurlabha, it is difficult, very confidential, but at the same time sulabha, made easily available and easy to practice, sugamya, by the association of the devotees. And it is kartavya, Gita sugita kartavya. Kartavya means responsibility. So Shripad Adi Sankaracharya is saying that don't think that you can ignore Bhagavad Gita, because this is the manual of human life. This is the book that contains the information of how to become free from the cycle of birth and death. No other book of religion describes so concisely and so clearly and so much to the point the most important subject matter of spiritual life as does Bhagavad Gita. So therefore it is our kartavya, our responsibility to understand these instructions of the Lord. Actually, Bhagavad Gita should be made the textbook in every school and college, and without a doubt, if that is done, then the entire human life will become perfect and this world will actually become Vaikuntha. And if we very seriously take this responsibility of reading Bhagavad Gita, then he's saying, Kim anyahi shastra vistarahi, that there is no need to read other scriptures, anya shastra. What does he mean by anya shastra? We will discuss. There are hundreds and thousands of Vedic literature, and they all describe different paths, worship to different forms. In some places they are describing worship of demigods like Shiv Puran, Devi Puran, and in Gadud Puran so many different things are described. And then also different forms of worship are described, different types of yagyas are described in the Vedic literature. By reading all of these multitude of Vedic literatures, one may become very much confused. So actually, the Lord also says in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 42, Yam imam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipashchitaha, that men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas. Vedavad rataha partha na anyat asti iti vadinaha. These flowery words of the Vedas recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. So many different types of worships, sacrifices are described in this multitude of Vedic literatures to attain different objects of sense gratification. And by following those paths, we actually become more entangled in the cycle of birth and death. And our intelligence also becomes defocused. To achieve anything in life, we must be very focused. if you are trying to make a career in your life and you try to pursue 10 different things, then you will not achieve anything. Right? It is said, Jack of all trades, master of none. To become master, you have to follow one trade and become very skillful in one art. Similarly, to progress in spiritual life, we cannot run after so many different paths. So Krishna also instructs in Bhagavad Gita to Arjun, Vyavasaitmika buddhi eka hi kuru nandanaha bahushakha hi anantasya buddhya avyavasayinam. That, O son of the Kuru dynasty, the resolute intelligence of those who are on this path of bhakti is one-pointed. But the intelligence of those who are averse to bhakti branches endlessly. So Krishna is saying that those who follow my instructions given in Bhagavad Gita of one-pointed devotion to Him will actually attain the supreme absolute truth, but others who run after so many different paths, their intelligence becomes multi-branched and end up achieving nothing. So one may question that why are so many different paths described in Vedic literatures? We will discuss this further as we go along Bhagavad Gita. But briefly, it is also the design of the Lord to cater to the different levels of consciousness. The material world is created by the Lord so that the living entities can get frustrated in their pursuit of sense gratification and ultimately start realizing that there is no happiness in this world, and then finally move towards the path of spiritual salvation. There are 8.4 million species of life, of which there are 400,000 human species. Isn't that amazing? According to modern science, there is only one species of humans, Homo sapiens. But according to Vedas, there are 400,000 species. Why? Because Vedas describe this based on the levels of consciousness. So, to cater to these 400,000 levels of consciousness, the Lord has described these different paths in the Vedic literature, but the ultimate goal of all of them is to come to the supreme path which is described in Bhagavad Gita of one-pointed devotion to the Lord. So if one comes to this determination and if one takes shelter of Bhagavad Gita in which the essence of all the Vedic knowledge is described, then what is the purpose of running after other things? So we should have firm faith. Na anyaha. We should become ananya, means one-pointed. When the king of a country is giving instructions, then why would we not follow just his instructions and run after the instructions being given by the low-level ministers, right? So therefore, when the Lord himself is giving instructions in Bhagavad Gita, what is the need for running after other instructions? So Bhagavad Gita is important for this very reason, because this has been spoken by Padmanabha, the Lord from whose navel the lotus flower manifests. Therefore, we should just focus on this. Now, Shripad Adi Sankaracharya is not saying that we should neglect every other scripture in which the subject matter of pure devotion to the Lord is described. He is only saying that those scriptures in which material paths are described, Karam Kanda is described, pure devotion to the Lord is not described, those should not be the focus of our study, but any scripture like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, which describe the glories of the Lord and His instructions, should be the subject matter of our study and our spiritual pursuit. So Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic literature, and if we read Bhagavad Gita in this life, that is the perfection. So let us not waste our life, and let us make sure that we read and understand the 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Have a very blessed day.